Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another Terp Talk Tuesday with Micannacast. It's Micannacast. I'm Canna Dave.
And I'm Groovy.
On today's episode, we're going to be talking about thinking about the future with 2022 upon the horizon with us in a couple
Talk
weeks.
Tuesday, baby. It's not an episode technically because we do thing, but I feel you. I love it though because honestly, I mix them all up too. I just love it, Canna Dave.
Yeah,
hey, it's nice to see your face just doing it like this too.
Yeah, we're centered,
Hey,
baby.
Adam Bomb, what's up, fam?
We are centered right now.
That's my dude right there. Adam Bomb's always been loyal, always here with us. I appreciate you, Adam Bomb.
Appreciate the
a lot.
love.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, Neil, no worries, man. Appreciate you dropping in. Hopefully you can catch us. Appreciate that. I love that. But yeah, we're going to be talking about the future of what we think. We have a couple questions we're going to be talking about, like going into 2022, like predictions, I would say, like what we think. And then we'll ask you guys what you guys possibly think as well, too.
Yeah, just a bunch of categories that, honestly, some of them are like older things. Some of them are like hot topics. We've read some articles recently talking about like the future of cannabis going in 2022. So, thought it'd be a good time to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, dude, before we get into it, I can't believe the new year's already here.
It's
almost
nuts,
it's like less than 3 weeks. Yeah, 3 weeks away. Shit, that's crazy. And with that, it's like, dude,
appreciate you, Neil.
It's another year, 2022, another year within cannabis, and what's gonna happen? What's gonna become popular in 2022? What's gonna be not popular in 2022?
Well, I mean, honestly, there's so much changing in the cannabis industry. So many things like on that fence.
Yeah,
with safe banking and other things. So,
what's everyone smoking and dabbing on first?
Of course. Well, of course, what's everyone smoking and dabbing on? But I mean, that's what we're getting into today is discussing, just kind of like thoughts and because there's so much going on in the cannabis industry right now. So some things that we think, some things that we don't know. So,
what up, IG?
Oh yeah. What's up, IG? How's it going, fam? Cool.
All right, keep going, man.
So what do what's everybody smoking on?
We're about to spark up a blunt.
What's up, everybody on YouTube?
It's a mix of a couple strains. I don't even know. We got a couple different genetics in it, so we're smoking smorgasbord.
Smorgasbord?
I don't even think I ever call my blunts that, but that's kind of funny. and we're smoking a Swisher Sweet. About to spark it up. Talk about
Yeah, I mean, I just did a
2022,
dab. We
man.
just did a dab of some Gelato Pebbles by
that was your loud
Pinicana.
pedibles. Okay.
Yeah, it was pretty good though, right? The terp, that was 10% terps on that, man.
Was it really?
Yeah, that's what I said. I really liked that. I was like, hey, you know me. If you listen to this, you've been listening since the beginning. You watch me evolve more and more into a concentrate lover. Like, I think in the beginning I probably was just like just as much as a flower in you, and now I'm like concentrates.
You were starting to lean towards concentrates,
I mean, I'm sure
but now you're just like, I'm concentrating.
I have a problem. I don't have a problem. You have a problem.
Now you're just like
IG.
all concentrates, and like I'm still at all flower. Like it's just how it is.
I mean, hey.
But that's what makes this podcast perfect. We will talk about both of them. You know, the flower and the concentrates.
I love both. You can't not love them both. Does anyone else got preferences? And actually, that's going to be one of our first questions. I mean, we can kind of discuss it. I'll pop it up here in a second, but we might as well jump into it. Cannabis or concentrates or flower? Who thinks, like, what do we think? Do we think either one's going to be more popular going into this year? I mean, Kennedy, have you got thoughts or anything?
I definitely think flower is going to continue to be the top trend, even with product probably sold in the Michigan market, and then also I think within the consumers, I think a lot of people still smoke their flower. Flower is one of the more dominant smoking. I go right to smoking. One of the dominant things you do with cannabis. Most people, when you start trying cannabis, probably tend to go to smoking it, right? So I think even the older generation is going to continue smoking it. Younger generation is smoking it, but they might go to the vapes. But I don't think the vape market is as big as the cannabis market or the concentrate market. And by cannabis, I mean flowers. And I think I think flower will still be dominant here in sales in Michigan as well too. I don't think you'll be pushing. I don't think concentrates or edibles will be coming up. I do see edibles becoming more popular, like they are. You're seeing more in the sales, but I don't think. I think your main category is flower, in my opinion, and then concentrates would fall second for 2022.
Well, I mean, it's like flower is true and true. Like flower is where it came from, you know, like how are you going to not love flower, you know? But I mean, I do think there'll be a rise in concentrates. I just think there's this big shift in like everyone was loving the healthiest, the solventless right there for a while, where I think now I think extractors are having issues really making the money they need to with that middleman. You know, so I think what you'll see is a lot of shift in concentrates, but more because I think we might see being a lot more different, just like hydrocarbon ways. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I mean, I like we were saying, like on Saturday, if you guys missed the Wake and Bake, we do a Wake and Bake 9 a.m. Eastern. Come join.
Having some Mac Daddy, nice Adam Bomb.
I think BHO and the live resin and those types of concentrates will be making more of a push over the solvent list, like we said, in 2022. I just don't see concentrates like overtaking flower, man. I think it's
no, and that's why I said
maybe in years to come, but I still don't think that right now. Right now, I'm gonna stick to flowers. The flowers number one. Flowers the go-to. It's most accessible too. You can just either have a joint, smoke it, go. I'm talking about outside.
I mean, and when we talk concentrates, we're talking all of them. So I mean, I know vapes have been kind of thing, but I mean, do you think vapes will make any comeback? Because like they kind of had a rise and then they just kind of settled out.
I think there's a small community that's always gonna love the vapes, right? Like the vape community. Right. And you'll have people that will try it just for the sleekness and because you can pretty much bring a vape anywhere. Me personally, I like vapes. They're okay, but they're not my favorite. And I just haven't found the one I truly like, company or flavor. But like, just with all the stuff that comes out, like I don't even like vaping cigarette.
Right, like you don't vape in general, right?
Yeah,
I'm not a fan. I came from smoking. So
I'm not a fan of any vaping. So I just love the taste of flower. It's so hard for me to get away from that. Like maybe one day.
Well,
for me.
My only thing is why I thought concentrates might take did take its like initial burst. It was because the lack of smell. Like I think a lot of people got used to be like, hey, I could dab or vape, and no one smells it. I can just do whatever I need to do, and no one's gonna bother me, right? I think now that we're going into like now we have like legalization here in Michigan.
What's up, Tom?
And all this stuff shifting in cannabis or here, like everything's shifted. Mm-hmm. I think it's more normalized, and maybe your coat smells like pot. People aren't gonna assume you're just like high. Because your coat smells. Maybe when we get rid of probable cause, that would be sweet. smell being probable cause, that would be sweet.
I still.
But I think concentrate is kind of made. It's like up and down. I think you're right. I do think concentrates is going to make a shift, but I do think flower is going to be the winner in 2022. I think the past like few years, concentrate, actually probably 5+ years now, concentrates have really been taking king. But I think now everyone's just kind of like got used to them, where they're like, you know, I mean, a lot of people are also like, you know, like, oh, I could never smoke that much. I could never, you know, I mean, I couldn't dab. I'm gonna get too high. So I think people are also have like done the bad shit or done the horrible stuff, and now just, you know, don't do it. They don't want to. So it's been around long enough. Right. And I love concentrate, so that's a lot for me to say. It's hard. It's a heartbreaker.
I mean, for you, yeah. Like,
I love concentrates. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, still team concentrates.
Concentrates are great, man. They're always great. They're always great.
Hell yeah, absolutely.
When flower gets knocked off, I'm curious when that happens.
Yeah.
Like, what would it be? Concentrates? Would it be edibles? Would it be vapes? I don't know. Time will tell, man. Time will tell us.
Well, I don't know. I don't know.
You know?
I don't know. It's kind of hard to say which one I think is going to be like necessarily do better, because I don't know if one's going to do. I just think that, because I think, like I said, I think the concentrate lovers have found it already. I think it's just kind of there. I think flower will always be true and true.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I kind of agree with you on that. What else you got?
A couple questions.
What else you got?
What else you get?
Cartridges will always have the.
This, since we already started talking about this, I put live resin or live rosin. I probably should have put hydrocarbon versus live rosin. That's a lot of letters, so I don't know if that would have fit. So I guess my idea is like, I'll put BHO versus or rosin. Do we think is either or gonna take off in 22? I actually think we're going, like I said a little bit earlier, but I mean, what's your thoughts on BHO, hydrocarbon versus rosin? Solventless. I should put solvent versus solventless concentration 2022. Do you think there's going to be a major difference? Because as tech grows, I think people are trusting more of the BHO, and cultivators want it because there's more yield.
I think, yeah, yield for a business standpoint, they're usually going with that. In my opinion, they're probably going to want to yield more.
I mean, you love rosin, so what are your thoughts on it, you know?
I do love rosin, but rosin's too expensive, man, like I said. It's great. It's got a great flavor. I enjoy it. It's just too expensive to constantly buy grams of it. I mean, if you're paying anywhere from $50 to $100 a gram anytime, like even if you have a buddy, it's still expensive, because like even if they have a little bit, you know, it depends on how big the. It's I don't know. I don't know. I'm just.
No, I actually.
But I prefer it. I do prefer it. So I wish it was cheaper. I wish it would have had a little bit of a cheaper market, but I think you have to find those specific strains that are like covered in trichomes that are great for oil. Like there's certain strains that are great for oil, and those are the ones you got to get for like rosin. You got to find the right ones. Nicotia said in our episode, you find the right strains that are great for rosin, then it might be worth it. And then I would just make a whole room like that.
Someone recently told me that slurricane yielded well for them, so maybe that's the one you press. But hold on. And Adam Bomb says rosin for flair, BHO for that kick. Can you elaborate a little bit? And I think my big thing is I've been converting over a little bit to like, you know, just finding the flavor. Mm-hmm. It's because I've been seeing batters in these terp sugars with really high terpene amounts and, you know, tasting really good. And just once I find that company that has that pheno that I like, it's game over. You know, like that's. So I think sometimes with this rosin, I was just like so happy with solventless, but like as long as you find that company that where it tastes right, it looks amber, and it, you know, they get it pulled out, like, you know, I don't know. I've gone back and forth because, like you said, I mean, especially at the dispensaries, rosin's way too expensive. You know, so you got to find someone that does it, and then you got to find someone that does it well. Mm-hmm. And then doing that in the regular. Like, see, these are all like harder and harder. So, but I think we might be seeing a lot more hydrocarbon stuff.
Yeah, I think so too.
So,
well, in the business standpoint, yeah. But I think the consumers do like their rosin, so you're not going to see it leave. But from a business standpoint, you're going to see more businesses probably producing on that side, yeah. Yeah,
no, that makes sense. That makes sense. I mean, okay, so this is one thing. This is interesting. Will bud tenders be held to a higher level in 2022? So really, I meant higher level of knowledge, because there was a lot of, well, no, because you know how it was. Yeah. There was a lot of influx of bud tenders not necessarily, you know, not having a huge backing.
I think we've said it, but
and maybe that's not the right wording. So if there's any bud tenders out there, I apologize. But what we're just saying is like knowing your product better, or knowing your what'd you say, Dave?
No, product knowledge better.
Yeah.
Because we've talked about it like on our actual podcast, Groovy. It's you think about it. If you do shop at a dispo provisioning shop, when you're going in there, your first time, 10th time, 20th time, you're gonna talk to the bud tender. And the bud tender is usually going to tell you something on the menu that they're going to recommend, or you might even ask them, hey, what do you recommend, this and that? And when the same time it's over and over, it's fire, or get this one and get this one, or if they don't know like any of the genetics, like you would think like you would learn some of the genetics of the plants that are coming in, especially your top tier plants, right? Like your top tier exotic flavors. If you're not knowing those, and as a consumer, you do want to know that, I think the bud tenders need to be able to provide that knowledge to the consumer. The bud tender, if the bud tenders mess up, you're not going to go shopping at that store again. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And that's why I put higher knowledge. I worded that wrong. Sorry. And there's too many words, so you kind of lost. Anyways, tried to space it correctly, but product knowledge, and that makes more sense. And I just wanted to correct myself because I think sometimes when you go in there, like, what's the best? You're like, oh, have you tried that? Have you tried? I mean, it is a bummer when they don't know. You know what I mean? Even if it's like everyone gets to rip the bong once, like, you know what I mean? Everyone takes a 0.3 home, split up an eighth among the whole team, so everyone can just get a flavor.
They should know the flavor. They should know some resemblance of some knowledge when they're selling you on the product, because you're spending a lot of money at these dispos. Yeah. And it's not an Apple store where you just pull up and you know what you want. Like there's like 10, 15, 20 different strains. Plus now you have all these different companies coming to market as well too.
They're pushing what's like the best, the deal, or like what that has the highest THC. You know how many times someone has been like, hey, this is the strongest. It's the highest THC. Oh, have you had it? No.
You don't want it?
But I've heard it's fire. What's that one? It's fire. What's that one? It's fire. Like, and I guess that's what we were just trying to say, is just making sure that, I mean, and honestly, I think some of that kind of lies on the dispo, a little bit. Mm-hmm. And honestly, maybe that is like a dispensary saying, hey, we take an eighth and everyone gets a little bit. I would say, everyone just gets this, we're all split a couple joints, but I don't know how that is with COVID policies anymore. But so my whole thing is like, just make sure that the bud tenders get a little sample. And I don't see why they shouldn't be able to try a little bit for free. We don't need to be sold on a product that we already love. We need to be sold on a product we're looking for. And but this is, it is, and this is what devil's advocate is. We expect these bud tenders to know a lot, when not every single person that knows cannabis on that level is going to want to be a bud tender. A lot of those people that know cannabis on that level are caregivers, or they do, or in their own
consumers that love the product. But those are the people that you want to be helping you in the industry. Like, think about this.
But that's why we need safe banking. Because honestly, if safe banking was in a place and then these jobs were guaranteed safe for everyone, and people were like, wow, you could get a job and still get a house with a cannabis job, then hell yeah. So that's kind of, that's kind of the thing too.
We're also asking, I want them to be
able to. You're asking a lot from these bud tenders. And that's, I know I'm asking for a lot, but we're all asking a lot from these bud tenders, but it should be, you should understand the product. But like what I was trying to say is that's not just on the bud tender's shoulders. That's not the bud tender's fault. In my opinion, that's kind of like the dispensary, not teaching. It needs to be taught.
There definitely needs to be teaching or some understanding.
You need to have like a level of understanding of cannabis before you're just like, yeah, you're a bud tender now. You know what I mean? Because you know how to work a POS system. That doesn't mean you should be able to bud tender.
That's what I'm saying. They're just like working, or the iPads where you're just walking around. They have the iPad and they just hit pretty much clicking the button and boom, that's the order. Like eventually, the industry, I think, in my opinion, I think it's going to evolve a little bit where people are going to want to know more information, and the bud tenders are going to have to understand a little bit more, or at least understand the difference between solvent and solventless, or your different concentrates.
Right.
Why is your price? Why is top shelf always? What are the strains? Like those are some different things, or different terpenes.
Alex on YouTube brings up a good point. He says it's because most growers, sorry, I was coughing, don't have sales reps and provide samples and educate dispo sales reps from other packaged good businesses doing those things. Yes, and that's what we're trying to get at. Is we're not blaming the bud tenders on this, and that's like we brought it up because it's a sensitive topic. But that's why we brought it up, because yes, it is easy to blame the bartender. I've done it. You've done it.
I've done it many
We've
times.
always done it because that's your
times.
direct person,
It's so
right?
bad, so bad.
Well, I mean, but that's your face of your company too. So in my mind, it's like as a provisioning center, you should want to invest in your employees. Because if you're investing in your employees, then therefore you're investing in your future. Because then the employees will want to stay.
That means paying them too, though. Paying them more.
Yeah.
Got to make sure.
Yeah. Fair pay is always huge. But I mean, I'm just saying, education. It spreads the whole team. That's it. It's not on the dispo. It's on a mix of everyone's shoulders. You know.
And there's probably dispos out there that are very well knowledgeable. We've had a couple of them, but we've also had our fair share of bad experiences that we've ran through.
Right, for sure. No, you're right.
Which sucks, but it is what it is, you know? It is what it is.
Thanks for bringing that up, Alex. Appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you. I think in time, more and more become educated because the industry is continuing to grow and the knowledge is becoming more accessible. There's more people are coming into the industry now.
Well, that's a big thing that is, I mean, we're just saying right now, we're just talking predictions if you're just tuning in for 2020. I mean, now we're just, we're talking about a little bit more of our predictions here, but like, there's so much with this industry. Like, there's so much. Like, damn.
There's a lot going on within cannabis and moving forward within 2022,
I mean, do you have any predictions specifically for 2022? Like,
I would hope to say we get safe banking. I think that's what you were gonna say. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. I feel you on the same waveform, bro.
I saw the bubble pop up in your head and it was like safe banking. And I was like, I'm gonna snatch that. I'm gonna say that first.
I mean, it's being brought up a lot, so I think by the end of 2022, I really think we should see it pass, and that's why, again, I think then a lot of these employees, people will be more drawn and comfortable with the industry. I mean, think about how long this industry's taken to get where it is. I mean, it's taken over a decade just to get the stigma gone, even though it's been legal. 12, 13 years now. So it's like, things move slower with cannabis because of all the social beliefs and stuff behind it. So it gets a little weird. But yeah, I do think safe banking is something that is a teeter-tottering on.
I'll put it since you say yes, I'm gonna go the opposite. I don't think it will now.
Okay.
I think they're gonna go back and forth forever, and just pull it out, or because here's the thing: you have a midterm election next year, 2022. So if they don't vote on it between the halfway year, there's gonna be some type of thing where, hey, this is vote for me, keep me in office, and we'll get this in 2023.
And then don't do it. Just kind of say it, don't do it.
And then get it, and it doesn't happen until 2023. I don't know, because this year is going to be
I see what you're saying. So you're saying it won't happen until 2022. You're saying it'll probably happen, but just like everything in politics seems to move like molasses.
Yes. Yeah. and then with the midterm coming up and different seats going to be up, people are going to be talking about, there's going to be certain things that are going to,
that's a good point,
are going to cater to votes. And that's how it is, and unfortunately that's how it is.
Yeah.
So we'll see, but it would be great if it happens. I really hope it does. But right now, I don't really trust anything that they're going to be doing, trying to push that legislation through. I really don't. Like, you had the chance just a couple weeks ago to play with the defense bill, and nope, you had to pull it out. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Because it didn't fit Chuck Schumer's agenda and in some of his other people that are probably pushing that one bill, and I keep blanking on the bill's name.
What, the defense bill, you mean?
No, the other bill that Chuck Schumer's trying to push through right now through the House and Congress. So they're always trying to push their own agenda, so it's just crazy.
Yeah, and that's kind of where we're at, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is.
I mean, my big thing I want to say, I guess I'll pull up this. This is something we want to talk about. This is a big thing. I wanted to talk about this since we're like right in the middle. Throwback strains and new genetics in 2022. Like, what are people's thoughts? Do we think there's going to be tons of new strains again? Or do we think, like me and Canada, if we're talking, do we think old school strains might be coming back? Because we've been reading things, we've been thinking about things, and just where we're at with the over amount of branding and companies and so many different types of crosses and strains, I think we're at a point in 2022 where we're going to see an influx, like we said, of like, because we've been craving it even lately. Since we tried that Acapulco Gold, we were like, awesome. You know what I mean? It's like,
Before we go on the strains, we got Adam Bond mentioned.
Go ahead.
Indiana will be surrounded by legalized states in 2022. That's my prediction, and they'll still be illegal, right? It's like, dude, just open it up at this point. What are you gonna do? Put cops at all the borders for anyone going outside the state lines picking up cannabis,
and then be like, hey, we don't have enough taxes for the amount of
cops we need. Well, man,
change the laws.
God, I'm sorry, Adam Bond. Man, I'm sorry.
Indiana, man, I don't get it.
I think they're far away because wasn't Mike Pence from Indiana? And I don't think he was a fan of cannabis. He was like former governor, if I wasn't mistaken, right? I could be completely off. I'm probably wrong. I'm just talking out my
It doesn't
ass.
make. Well, you're making things so horrible for. And then think about all the people in Indiana that want to just grow cannabis and make money off it. They're like, come on, guys, this is like, let's keep this here. Like, cannabis is such an industry, an untapped industry in so many areas, especially like Indiana. You know, so many.
So many. Yeah, I'm gonna retract the last statement. Could be off.
What'd you say? Wait, which part?
I'm just the Mike Pence thing. I'm pretty sure he's from Indiana, and then he was the governor at one point. So like, he was not for cannabis. Like, he was the vice president to Trump, right? And he wasn't for cannabis. So I'm just assuming anybody in Indiana is not for the legalization. Dude,
Right.
it's like I always go back to that one governor. Who was it? Rickett? Remember? He's the one that said oh man, I'm blanking. I'm gonna miss the quote now.
I do remember being hateful towards cannabis, and I can't remember. It was really
Like
misinformed.
Yeah,
thoughts.
very misinformed.
Yeah. I know I'm trying to remember it, but like it's like damn. But anyways, yeah, no. I mean, we can pull this down if you want to wait a second. We can talk about honestly, like, I mean, how do people think 2022? Do we think that it's we're gonna see do we think we're gonna see a large shift in states going legal, like more legal and medical? Is that what you think? Do you think that it's gonna keep going?
I do. I think I found the quote. It is Governor Rickett. If you legalize marijuana, you're gonna kill your kids.
Oh yeah, right. Wow.
And like that he's the governor of Nebraska, right? That's absurd. And that was this year. That was in March of this year, Groovy. So like that's not like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, like March. So it's like 10 months, 8 months, right? But still, having that statement that there's just that needs to be nixed. Marijuana does not kill your kids by legalizing it. There's a bunch of states that are legal, and I don't think at all that's the case. Like that misinformation needs to go away. Hopefully in 2022 it starts to go away by midterm elections. Hopefully there's some states that are going medical or adult use, and if not, they get it on the ballot for 2024, which is the presidential election. The next time they'd probably be able to vote on it,
Right.
because we need more of that. We got to get rid of that bad stigma. Like, that's bad right there.
Yeah.
Like, if you still have people that are in higher positions like that and they're making decisions, or they're the last people to sign off on it, like, that's we've seen from legal states, we've seen from medical states, we've seen how cannabis oil helps, like how RS oil helps. Like, the cannabis plant is amazing, you know. It is amazing. So to hear stuff like that still in 2021 is like a
let me ask you this then.
industry.
Let me ask you this, since you're talking about propaganda, and we're seeing podcasts all over, with positive, cannabis stuff, or not just podcasts, information sources. We're seeing more media sources because of the internet. What do you think about propaganda? Do you think propaganda is going to grow in 2022? Do you think it's going to go down? Do you think the stigma is going to die because of propaganda changing? Because in my opinion, I do think there is starting to see more positive propaganda if you do your research. Like, if you're not just like, hey, I watched the news and this is what I believe.
Yeah, right.
Like, if you're not one of those people that's like, hey, I watch this news source, or I listen to this one news source all the time, this is it. This is what I believe. I mean, if you do check multiple media sources and you're talking to people, you're checking online, I mean, I think nowadays you can make more of an educated thought, because, like, especially when I talk to my little sister, a decade younger than me, generation that I feel like I don't even know, because I feel like when I'm talking to her, I feel old. Like, I feel like I don't even understand her.
Dude, you are old, man. You're old as hell.
I look like I'm 14. So,
you do.
no, but
you
anyways,
do.
no, but I just think that propaganda is like, I think we're going to still see the main media sources with negative propaganda, but just because there's so much legalization stuff going on, we're seeing that mix of propaganda and negative, positive and negative propaganda. But I think the information's out there now. I don't know. That's my information, like my idea there.
The information is becoming more knowledgeable because you are seeing more and more people talking about it. And it's good that people are talking about it. You need the community to continue building. You need that. That's how it's gotten legal. That's how we've gotten medical first.
Right.
Like without medical, there wouldn't have been no adult use anywhere, right? We first got approved for medical, and you're like, okay,
No, that's true.
now let's go for adult use. So to see it slowly breaking down is great, but it's still nowhere near done. There's so many still restrictions on cannabis.
No, that's true. No,
You know?
absolutely. No,
Prediction
for sure.
2022, we get rid of probable cause with cannabis smoke. That'd be dope.
Oh, like smell.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. I don't think
Well, I
that's
could
gonna
definitely
happen, though.
agree on that one, man. I think, I mean, we did just see Illinois do it, and I never thought I'd see Illinois do that first. Like, to be honest, like, because they honestly, their government is like, seriously looks like they're just trying to make as much money as possible with like all the laws. Like, they're always like the tax, and they upcharge people like with the, you know, how high the taxes are, and like they're supposed to charge everyone high price for shitty weed, so for like low quality. So I mean, maybe that could be a thing. I'm actually shocked that we didn't beat Illinois to it. But, and honestly, because you smoke weed in your house legally, or you're smoking cannabis legally, how can then smell be a probable cause? Like, I understand if weed's like on your breath and you're like blow smoke out in front of a cop's face, and they're like, all right, like,
I've literally,
and you're like, I mean, like, it caught you red-handed, right? But other than catching you red-handed, like, what? How can you prove that your coat smells like that? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's the same thing. Like, if alcohol, if it's not on your breath and it literally does just smell like alcohol in your car, it really shouldn't be probable cause. That could mean you dropped a beer, or like you broke a glass when you were like grocery shopping, some vodka you bought. You know what I mean? Really, smell does not mean shit. It just gives this reason for people, or for not these people, for police to just give, like, I get to look now and treat you like a criminal, even if it is just personal use, which a lot of times it is. You know, it's not a lot of times we're like, bam, we got all these pounds. Like, of course, that's what you're gonna, you know, you're gonna hear about that in the media, like sometimes, but like in reality, like that's not what happens. In reality, it's like a dude with like 2 grams that then has to get arrested, gets his car impounded, then is on probation for years, has a hard time getting a job just because they smoked a joint, and that's like bullshit. And even back in the day, it was even worse because then someone's just smoking a joint and then they're getting all these charges. So it's like, it's really just been the people smoking butts. So smell being probable cause in 2022.
I got another prediction for you.
I wasn't even done with my sentence.
I know. Go. I got another one.
No. I do think there is a chance, because I honestly think with Illinois doing it, like that changes some things.
It makes sense. It should. It should be.
Doesn't, yeah, because the law doesn't make sense. It makes sense to change. Absolutely, yeah, for sure.
You ready?
Yeah. What's your prediction?
This is just for Michigan, because I think I'll say it first. Will we see consumption lounges in Michigan?
Well, because they're legalized in Detroit, I kind of hope.
Well,
so.
no, there's also Ann Arbor, I believe, too. I think, right? And there's one
Right.
more on the west side. Hopefully,
I thought Flint was talking about it too.
maybe. Because I know Vegas is supposed to have theirs in Nevada. I think it doesn't. Cali have them as well too.
I haven't actually been to one.
I haven't
Not
been
like
either,
a,
so
not like
I haven't been.
Not, I mean, I've been to those collectives where you can smoke pot, right? I mean, you know, I mean, not to, like, I would say, I don't know. I guess I don't know how I'd word it versus, you know, we've been to like Vehicle City. I don't know how the laws work. I mean, that's technically consumption, but I think that's a compassion club. So you got to be a member. So you got to pay the member fees.
Different.
Right? You know, when you enter. So that's what I was trying to say. Like, so I was going to say, like, that's different. So I think this is like a whole new thing that I've never even experienced.
And plus, that's more on the medical side. I'm saying like adult use side, like for anybody, right? Because you have to be.
Well, it makes sense for people.
Right? On the compassion side. I'm trying to, because that is something. I'm not knocking that.
No. You're right. Because I mean, it makes sense. 2022. That's the next logical step, right? It's going more legal. So now, what are you supposed to do now? Besides expanding green zones, you make it legal for so they can have another business, so we can grow this other business. You know.
I'm just curious. I'm just curious how if it does go through, how is it? Who's supplying it? Can you bring your own stuff to the consumption lounges? You know, can you? Because if you can't, you know, some people won't go. But you'd probably be able to sneak your stuff in, right, and be able to smoke it, I would assume.
Yeah.
Or are you just buying one product there? Is it just like one disposed product in place, or is there multiple strains, multiple concentrates? Is it a dab bar? Like, I'm curious how it would look, right?
Like, what can you sell there? Is it food compliant? Can you do that? Like, right?
Right. That'd be another step to it. I'm curious. I would love to see it happen. I think there's a possibility maybe by the end of the year it does happen.
Right. I mean, I would love to see consumption lounges happen in the future because they're supposed to be already in progress, which I'm sure there are some behind the scenes, like getting built and getting decked out and ready to go. So as soon as legislation's going, they're like, boom, switch on the switch. Because you know it's like the first one of the punch is going to be that popular one.
Oh, yeah.
It's just it's like when you go out to Vegas and we saw Planet 13, it was like the biggest. Like, okay, so what? Everyone's like, "Do you go the biggest one?" Like, I don't know.
No.
Like, I mean, they just have. I mean, yeah, they probably just have more variety, but you know how packed it's gonna be. With, like,
I know. It's like
84 bud tenders, like that, probably just get hired for sales again. Like, I'd rather go to a small one where there's a couple bud tenders, or like they know what they're talking about. I can talk to them and at least understand if they do, you know. But I think consumption lounges are the next logical step in legal states. I really do think. Yeah, and Vehicle City, and Mike Cooper. Yeah, absolutely, man. Vehicle City's awesome, but I thought they were labeled as a consumption. I'm sorry.
Compassion.
A compassion club. So I think that I just was saying I think the legislation was like different, or the wording was different. So, and again, this is more in Detroit, and these ones. I think these ones
anywhere in Michigan though. I'm talking anywhere in Michigan,
right.
Adult use where anyone can go walk in, 21 and up.
But
and
Vehicle City Club,
cannabis.
shout out because they're way ahead of their time.
Oh yeah,
way ahead of their time because that's what we're talking
dude,
about.
That was like dab boards back in the day.
Right, but like. There's not like these aren't sanctioned. These aren't left alone. Like these have been worked out. Like these have been for long-standing things. Like these aren't. You couldn't just start one in downtown Detroit and it would be cool. Like you know what I'm saying. Like right now, I mean it's technically legal though, so it's like right didn't it or they passed. I don't know if it is fully legal, but
yeah, Detroit's just a little bit. It's a little bit behind on the adult use stuff.
Oh, you can't send food. Alex is saying.
I mean, that makes sense.
I mean, that does make sense. That's why I said, like, could you maybe you could sell snacks, like
yeah,
water, like bottled stuff, like stuff that's got a sealable, maybe.
But that'd be like a hookah lounge. Hookah lounges don't sell food, do they? Or can they? Because I know they do have snacks like water.
Well, I never went to a hookah lounge with food. I mean, they just had like you said, like snacks, chips and like waters and stuff and pop and stuff.
It's funny, I didn't say chips and stuff, but that's what I was thinking.
Sure maybe you have to have both licenses. Maybe you do. Maybe you could if you had them both regulated correctly. But like, I think there'd be too much cross contamination with. Like I feel like there would be issues with cross contamination. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But that's why Al brought up saying handcuffed by regulation. But yeah, and saying someone just brought up in the comments saying there's no money in it, and maybe that is it. Like there's just no money in moving it. You're saying like no real bread to make. I mean, I just feel like it's such a futuristic industry. Well, tourists could come into town and go to a place where they could just smoke weed and meet other smokers while they're in town, just like people do at bars. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
well, then it has to be like a pretty tourist destination then, right? Because if it's not just tourists, so if people aren't going in, like what if you couldn't bring your own cannabis? Are you going to go inside those all the time? Like, what do you, it depends. Do you have to pay a door fee every time to come in too? Is it like a bar you got to pay like $20?
Well, that's what I mean, that's kind of how it is with the consumption. I mean, with the compassion clubs, that's how it was, True. I don't think it was that I just don't think the companies that are on the adult use market can actually sell their product, or medical market can sell their product to those compassion clubs. Like I feel like there's like levels to everything. I feel like those compassion clubs. Well, that's what I'm saying. Compassion clubs, I always felt like were caregiver regulated, like caregivers. Where I feel like this new market, what we're talking about is medical, and micros would be able to sell their money or cannabis to it.
In adult use.
Because micros are screwed by regulation. They can only sell in certain ways. Like I don't know if everyone's familiar with micros, but they have to do all the processing and then they have to do they can only sell in certain places, which they have to sell all their own THC. They can't sell any other products of THC in it, only other CBD products in the micro themselves. And then they can at regulated events right now. But again, what happened to events during COVID? And I think with this, they'd be able to sell their stuff there. But see, but that's what I was saying is like it's another industry where other industries could grow and. But yeah, I think you're right, Alex. There's not a lot of money in it. Like, there's not like.
But here's the thing, though. Like the consumption lounges, yeah, maybe we don't have those right away. But cannabis events where you can buy from vendors and smoke right out on property, like that's you're probably gonna see a lot more of those in 2022. We saw a decent amount this year because COVID first year knocked a lot of that stuff out. You gotta think about it. And then this year there was a decent amount. Some of them are pretty cool. I think next year you're going to have a ton. So if there's not consumption lounges, there'll definitely be those cannabis-friendly events where you can still be able to just pick up and consume. But you're outdoors for most of those, I would assume. I wonder if we'll get any cups coming back. Any cups? Oh, the Hash Bash cup will be there.
We're seeing events come back. Hash Bash is going to be this year.
That was last year. They did have it this year.
What's up, D-Rock? How you doing, man? I haven't seen you for B. Richards. What's up? 3 Lefts. What's up? Oh, man. Can't wait to see all your flavor. I mean... we met you out a Cannacon. Damn, I see. Finally supposed to say.
I know.
Finally supposed to say Cannacon,
and I say
BizCon. Well, thanks for everyone on IG. What's up, everybody?
I'm gonna give a selfish plug to us. If you guys like anything that we are doing here, our Detroit is dropping their best of 2022. Oh
yeah, please.
And I'm about to post the link.
Micannacast, Micannacast, all one word.
Oh yeah, all one word. Micannacast. It's in the art and service section, I believe, and it's a podcast. It's a podcast category, and all you gotta do is just type in Micannacast. And if you got a quote you want to write, they might even throw you some love in the paper, maybe. But who knows? I'm not kidding for that. I'm just saying, just write our name. That's all I care for. I appreciate the love.
Because I don't know.
I would just love to do it. I would just love to get our name out there more. So appreciate it.
Micannacast.
Also. Might as well give
check our website. Check out the blog too that Canna Dave just wrote about.
Nino's Naturals. It's written on Micannacast right now.
Really cool. Actually, I love the article, man. I love it. Finally getting back into the blog content. We've been
I've been slacking.
You haven't been slacking, man. We've been readjusting, man. We've been having a lot of interviews setting up for 2022.
Slacking.
We got some guests coming on. We've got guests coming on this Terp Talk. So we're actually really excited. First one in 2022.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be sick.
We've got, not going to say who. It's a surprise, but he's definitely a terpene lover and expert. So, and we've got another one in the possible. So like I said, we're going to try new things for 2022. Really excited. But speaking of 2022, speaking of now, I should say, Nino's Naturals, like we were saying. But they're a CBD company. If you're ordering any CBDs, please check them out. Anything over $50 is free shipping, and you get an extra 15% if you use Micannacast15, Micannacast15.
Yep.
That would be awesome if you check them out. If you're already going to be looking to get CBDs for the holidays, I mean, I think they even got CBG stuff. Definitely check it. Oh, D-Rock already said done.
Oh, my dude.
And that's who again? Our Detroit? Yeah, so I appreciate
I'll be posting this through the next,
Post a link in the comments.
I do. I'm going to be posting it for the next couple weeks.
If you're not on IG, appreciate you.
I'm going to be posting because you can probably vote every day. I'm assuming it's like every other ballot. And if not every day,
I guess I have to read it too.
And if it's not every day, then vote once. We appreciate the love. Yeah. Thank you. And we're going to
like I said, let's keep it in the family. Like we're trying to do with the CBD with Nino Naturals, And if you haven't seen that episode, check it out with Narmeen. Great episode. Great passion behind their projects. So definitely dig it.
Yep. And then also tomorrow we're releasing a new episode that's coming live at 4:20 Eastern. We review Giraffe Head by Willie J. Peso and Heavyweight Heads collab. And then we also get into actually safe banking because that got pulled out of the defense bill.
Well, there's a lot of talk about safe banking right now because it's messing up a lot. So
No, it is messing up a lot. It's actually, we need to have it. The industry needs it. Mm-hmm. These businesses need it, dude. Mm-hmm. Like
100%. I agree.
It's tough just to sell t-shirts.
I agree. Yeah, as we mentioned here on our podcast, we got marked as high risk transactions to sell t-shirts because we have Canna in our name.
Yep.
We're like, what? Like we're a legit LLC. Here's our LLC. They're like, no. Like, all right, cool.
Yeah. So cool. That's just how it is. It's
like so crazy, but
I guess you can go back into the strains, man.
No. Well, I do know for 2022. I mean, what do we think about terpene listings on products? Do we think that it's gonna be normalized? Do you think it's gonna be more of a common thing? Because I wanted to talk about that because I've been seeing it more, or I've been seeing like the QR code and you get the terpene listing.
Yeah,
profile.
shout out to T-Dub. He's the one that gave us the...
Yeah, T-Dub.
Because that was sick.
True
After
North.
after looking at that, I gave you the whole list.
I
everything
told
that
you
passed.
I've been digging True North, man.
That
Shout
even
out.
ups it. That even ups it.
Yeah,
so
but
much
it's
more.
one of the... Again, I don't know if they're the only one.
Flavorful and all the listings. It's crazy.
Yep, you just have a QR code right there, and it brings you your terpenes listings. I just want to talk about terpenes listings and cannabinoids because I think the more... Why not? If you're already getting your stuff tested and you get this huge printout, right? Why not just give the information out? I understand why companies don't want to do it when they're low numbers, but like nowadays, like you have to be honest to the public because if you fake it and they try it and it's garbage, then you've just ruined your customer forever. If you're like honest about it and they're like, oh, it's got 5% terps, but it does only 15%, like, oh, maybe I'll just try it because I want to try animal cake.
What if it's
batter,
1% terps,
you know what I mean?
80% THC? Some people are gonna want it, but I just want to know what terps are in
well,
it.
and
man.
other things with
But
all
you
these
want-
other
you wanna know what
cannabinoids now,
terps are in it,
CBD,
though.
CBG, CBN. Yeah, but there's, I mean, terpenes too, though. But I didn't have room for cannabinoids too, but terpenes and cannabinoids.
Oh, like on the labels,
yeah,
CBG.
yeah. But
CBN.
terpenes, I think we'll see more of, because I think that's where like the trend's been going is with terpenes, and then hopefully we'll see the same thing with cannabinoids, and as more information gets about flavonoids, all these other things going forward, I think we're going to see more and more listings, or eventually just like a QR code, or here's like a little address where you can just see everything.
Yeah,
Because the more information, the better. I just think terpenes is next on it. For 2022, we'll for sure see it. I think we're going to for sure see terpene listings. By the end of 2022, it's going to be like common. You know what I mean? I really do think it's going to be common because by then we're going to have the new people chasing the new thing. Oh, hey, did you see that this company lists everything about their flower? You know what I mean? It's just going to be a competition to that. Who's willing to give their information out? Who's going to flex the most? Like because who has the best quality is going to be what's important. So
I like that, man. I like that.
Yeah,
I hope you hit that on the head. I hope that does happen. Because seeing it on packaging, it's very cool. Just the label, just let me know the terpenes, something.
Well,
QR code, something. Yeah.
Well, because dude, I mean, think about it. If you get Gorilla Glue, and for some reason that pheno has like 5% limonene and then less, the myrcene and carotene, you're like, wow, this pheno of Gorilla Glue is gonna be more on the citrus side. Maybe it's what I want. Maybe it's not.
Well, then you won't be caught off guard once you start understanding the terpenes and getting more knowledge in the strains, and then you know your palate.
That's how you gain
knowledge.
knowledge.
What you like.
Yeah.
As a consumer.
Hell yeah, 100%, dude, 100%.
Which is.
Well, and I mean, I guess I kind of want to transition to this talking about, because I kind of brought it up with the CBD stuff. I mean, do you think these new psychoactive compounds are going to be popular in 2022? Like the CBG, CB. I mean, I don't want to say new psychoactives. Okay, that's okay. Dial back. The new cannabinoid ones. Do you think the new cannabinoids are going to be popular in 2022? Because psychoactives is another question.
Right.
So I want to start with cannabinoids because I brought it up. Cannabinoids. Do you think cannabinoids are going to be listing on all the products? Or do you think the cannabinoid listings can be more popular?
I think more research will be getting done on these cannabinoids.
I feel like you would start, at least for the popular one, like the
CBD,
CBG, CBN, the ones that are like why I think we could see it, but I don't know if it's going to be like common. You know what I mean? I think we'll see some people do it, but I don't think it's going to be common. I think terpenes is the newest trend,
Terpenes are, but the cannabinoids should be. Eventually, I think we'll see different. Maybe we'll see in the future different breeders breeding for different cannabinoids, higher content. Because I was curious, do you think we'll see like more high dominant CBD strains compared to THC strains hitting the market, like for concentrates and flower? Like the pre-roll, I always go back to that Darren McCarty pre-roll. That was like 8% CBD and like 2% THC. Do you think we'll see more stuff like that in the market? Because you see that with like the patches. You see that with topicals. You see it with, what is it? Is there some like vapes that I think have it as well too?
What,
maybe not.
CBN,
like
CBG?
like higher CBD to THC. I'm talking
like 2-to-1, 3-to-1.
Yeah.
So you see patches, you're seeing topicals,
Right.
you see the vapes, sort of. But
I wonder if we'll see more of that in the flower. More flower like that, or concentrates.
I just don't think that ever took off to the point that you're going to see them in dispensaries, and that's why I love the caregiver system, because I think a lot of times if you want that 2-to-1, 3-to-1, it's not going to fly off the shelves. CBD hemp, I think a lot of where the money is growing it in large quantities and then processing it down to sell it as other products. for CBD.
What up, Ron?
Like I mean, because really, like hemp cultivation, I feel like you need to do it in larger masses. You can't just grow like 12 hemp plants and be like, I'm balling now. Like, no.
Nah, yeah, I wouldn't
you know
do
what I'm
that.
saying? It needs to be cultivated a lot higher masses. Like, yes, cannabis, like ones that get you a buzz, sell a little bit more. That's just what it is. They sell for higher, you know? So, no, I don't know. I don't know, actually, man. I don't think you'll see a growth in that, unfortunately. And that's, I mean, because I don't see that flying off the shelves as much. And that's just me being honest here. Do I love the products that exist? Hell yeah. Mm-hmm. Do I think they should exist? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. But, like, you know, like, it's unfortunately when you're talking about what's being made at the provisioning center level, it's what's going to sell. I mean, you're definitely going to see CBD companies and CBG. I think those are going to stay around. I don't think that compound's going anywhere because I think people do like that.
Oh, yeah.
They will love it for their animals.
CBD will be around. That's not going to
You know what I mean?
Because it's in the plant. It's in the plant, you know?
Right.
People are just going to extract it. There's no way it's going to go away, CBD. I would be great to see more strain specific.
Yes, thanks, Ron. You're never late, man. You're right on time because you here. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
And he says THCV might make some noise. So that was like kind of my next question, but so we're talking about cannabinoids. What about psychoactives, man? All these THCO, THCV, Delta 8 or whatever, all these other deltas, like, right? What do you think, man? I think they're going to get huge,
it's dubbed
man.
Diet Weed and Weederall.
Weederall?
For its wow, no.
Who said that?
I'm looking at an article right now in health.com. It was THCV versus THC.
Oh, okay. Thylo's one up. Yeah, I appreciate you tuning in, man. Yeah, no, I absolutely think these new psychoactives are going to take the off, man, because I think it's an because you remember the spice market, the stuff I almost died off of.
That stuff's nice,
right? Well, right. I definitely was on probation and definitely
we all tried. I'm not gonna lie to you. No, we all tried it.
I did too much because I was on probation, but like I didn't just try it, my man's. Anyways, but what do we think? Do we think the psychoactives are gonna be like the new thing? Because Tyler says, I think THCO isolate will be a huge fad for New Year's. I think the same thing. I do think THCO is going to be a huge fad because, just like I said, with the spice market, it took off. Even though it was unhealthy and unregulated, it was everywhere. Imagine how it's going to be when it's like, hey, this came from hemp, but it gets you stoned and it doesn't test. You know what I mean? Or if you just hit it low amounts, it won't test because it's not fat soluble. You know, it's gonna take off.
Well, yeah, it's because all the places that are still illegal, they can't. It's better for them to probably smoke that because even if you are working, it's not going to show up on a drug test or nothing.
Well, but I think
or even if you're on probation at that point.
I think compounds from
might
hemp.
On probation actually.
I think compounds from hemp, like such as these new psychoactive compounds, THCO, Delta 8, like THCV. I think I think because I think they're in an untapped market because people, like in certain professions can't smoke cannabis, like as a doctor or a nurse, right? If you get now you're in trouble, right? So they can't regularly use cannabis. So if they could hit THCO, it's not going to be the same feeling as cannabis, right? It's going to be an alternative. There's going to be negative propaganda, and they're going to be like, oh, THCO, the new crack, the new weed, right? It's blah, 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 diet weed, blah, 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 blah. But it's a different compound, just like any of these are. Just like CBG is the CBN, CBD to THC, to terpenes, to flavonoids. They're all a little different. It's just really easy to get it crossed, And I think THCO, is going to take off. Because if it even has a slight psychoactive compound to it, even though it is going to be different than traditional cannabis, people are going to love it, especially the ones that aren't going to use cannabis. You and me, we might try it once, twice, and be like, okay, whatever, and go back smoking joints. But for the people that don't use cannabis or want to, like in professional, like in the industries where you're like, I don't see why I can't use cannabis. I mean, shit, it might even be the cops out there that support, that just like, I can't do it because it's my job. Like, whatever, I don't know. I could see it taking off because, man, spice should not have taken off, but it did. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that was wild. That was nasty. Not the best, man. Not the best. But I feel like that stuff was like that.
JWH8. That was the research chem that was on spice that we have in the comments. That's interesting. I never knew what that compound was. I'm actually gonna pull that up because I've never actually.
I always thought it smelled like that potpourri stuff.
It says that's the research chem that was on spice, JWH8. Until they had to change it in case you want to know. I've been combining CBD with veteran enzymizing GABA tablets to make the nerves in mind. I'm actually very fascinated. Thank you, because now I can do research of what's wrong with me. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just more fascinated because I never knew what got you, whatever that was. 'Cause I don't want to say stone and trash the name of cannabis because that was not stoned. That was messed up. I don't know. Dumb.
Yeah, dude, I remember that. So nasty. Dude, China's growing THC
from yeast. I have no idea. Why would they do that? Because isn't it super
illegal?
Yeah,
wouldn't they
like,
kill?
Like China's. No, they'll put you in jail though. Like it's like anything under an ounce is like jail time, like 5. It was something ridiculous, but it was like over an ounce is like considered like selling, and then over a pound is trafficking. It's like what? Like here, growers could legally they have pounds. Like,
dude, I did not hear about that. I'm gonna have to look
crazy.
into that.
Yeah.
I thought they were totally against it, so they would just be against that the entire.
Yeah, that's a little. That seems.
I'm surprised they're even thinking about it.
Critical a little bit. Is that the word?
Or maybe it's underground. They're doing it.
Oh, because they can't grow the plants, so maybe they're chemically deriving THC so they can make like concentrate, so people can get high off THC or high off the cannabis feeling, but not. But I'll be honest, if I was just doing THC, like I wouldn't. I mean, going back, I wouldn't want that. It does make more sense though that way, because honestly, the plants and how long of a process that is, that would be really long. But if they bought the terpenes offline or got the terpenes, I mean, because these people are obviously doing shady shit already, right? You're already trying to break the law. Then you add the THC, you could chemically make like a distillate concentrate type of shit. Fascinating, China. Fascinating. It's actually not about. I'm not mad at it. It's a weird workaround.
Well, if that's what it's doing, yeah, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, what I could see it being a thing. I could see, and in 2022, I could totally see this being a thing. Like,
but just let them grow the weed. That's
why I said THCO. These things people can order. Like, these are gonna be like, I don't know, that they can chemically make. They're gonna be more popular. That's why I was really surprised concentrates didn't take off the way. But I think because we're here in Michigan, here we are in America, like flower will always be true and true, especially because it's legal here. It's like we can be like,
That's what a lot of people have been. Everyone's been smoking too.
Yeah. No,
a lot of the states have been illegal here, legal or medical in the United States for a while.
Yeah. No, and Ron, we're not quoting you, but it does seem like a fascinating thing to do, and I'm sure I'm actually surprised people haven't already tried to derive THC from other products or get lit. From different ways. Like I'm actually surprised THCO has taken so long. I can't believe it's taken so long to find some other psychoactive there. I'm surprised there wasn't some chemist back in the day who was like, people really love dabs. Like, what else we got in this plant? Get you a litty titty. Like, I'm not a chemist. I don't know, like the next acronym that's gonna get us litty. But
I don't know. I mean, the future's got a lot of things that can happen, man. We can see. I mean, that's the great thing about talking about it, because we honestly don't know. Unless you came from the future in a time machine and
and if you do, let me know the lottery for December 24th. I don't know why. It just gives me a little bit of time to get the ticket.
Is there a lottery on December 24th then?
Why not? Is there not?
Oh my God. Actually, you want to know what's hilarious talking about this? So crypto, anyone talking crypto quick? I was a trillionaire for about
oh God, that was crazy.
For like 2 minutes.
Dave called me and he quit. He was like, "You in this podcast, I'm out." And he sent me a picture and he was like a trillionaire or whatever. And I was like, whoa, but it was like a.
And then it all got taken away, and I was like, oh, I guess I'm back.
What did you say, an error?
Yeah, there was like a glitch or something that something happened. I don't know what happened, but CoinMarketCap and all these crypto sites had it, and it was like one of my holdings, like all the altcoins, like skyrocketed. I was like 1.4 trillion. I was like, what?
Someone's panicking behind
the scenes. It was funny. It was funny because I tried to swap it. I literally tried to swap it, and I was like, let's go, let's flick, let's go.
Just give me $1 million.
Just come on, man, let's go. But. Nope, we're not millionaires over here or trillionaires. We're just chilling,
We're alive heirs.
Yeah, we're having a good time. I appreciate everyone tuning in.
Call me 100 heir.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100 airs.
Oh, that's great. That was hilarious. I had to bring that talk to you guys about
Hashtag
that.
no changes. Hashtag white hashtag.
Yes.
Oh man. Yeah, and then the future of that, we didn't even actually talk about that, but we should have. Like the future of where I think that's going. Honestly, I think there's gonna be a little bit of a war for a little bit, but I think as green zones, I'm hoping as green zones expand, we'll start to see a less and less of a fight. But I don't know. I think you always have some haters hating on the little guy, just trying to make him ends meet.
Until there's overturn within like the districts and the offices, yeah, it's gonna be a little bit slower in some parts, but I think in time, yeah, it's gonna. You're eventually gonna see how useful the plant is and how free it is, and everyone should be able to grow it. Everyone should be able to pass it along if they want. Whatever, people are still gonna go to the shop and buy it. Yeah. Not everyone's gonna grow their cannabis, you know.
I don't even. It was an unneeded like war they started. Like just
so
mind your own lane.
That's actually a good question. Where's that going to go in 2022?
Like where
that's
is
like a hole.
I mean, we can talk for a little bit longer. I mean, we don't got to exit off right now. Let's stick on for a little bit here, because it is a good point. I mean, what would we even call that? Like, what would we even call that? Like, thoughts on Michigan cannabis in 2022? Like, where do we think where do we think Michigan is going?
Well, they were supposed to have. I don't know. I haven't heard if it's still. I think it's still hung up. But I thought they were going to be voting on it more. But I guess they probably can't.
Yeah, I mean, where do you think it's going with? Like, I mean, I do
think it's horrible if they continue trying to push that agenda.
Well, I'm saying personally, I don't think it's going to happen because of how it was voted in. Doesn't have to be like 75% of the majority. Like, no way. Like, no way. No way.
Correct.
You'll catch us running so many ads to make sure people get the information out there, like, because we've been held back and Twitter finally will let us, like, Twitter ads, like
yeah,
that's not fair, like
yeah.
voting, like, I'm sorry, and I don't think it would.
It's gonna be tough
I don't think
to
the
overturn.
people would
it's
let
tough
it. If it comes down to the people, I don't see it happening.
Well,
if somehow it gets twisted to not the people getting the final say, that's where we could get screwed. In my opinion, when it comes to the future of Michigan cannabis.
True, but the Michigan cannabis community.
Hey, cheers, T-Dub. We actually gave you a shout out earlier.
Oh, yeah, we
on
did.
the terpenes. So I appreciate that.
Michigan, when it comes down to Michigan cannabis community, it's pretty strong rooted, and everyone's continuing to push
John,
for
thanks
it.
for tuning in.
And I'm glad we're bringing that up because that is still a major topic, and we should be talking about that as well too. So I'm glad we're
I mean the Michigan
that.
cannabis industry. I do think you're gonna see the MCMA still fighting because these lobbyists against people that can beat them in quality. But the big thing lies is that if it comes down to the people, the laws will stay the same. Hashtag no changes. You can drop in the comments. We say it all the time.
Dude, John, tell your brother.
Don't get me wrong.
Hold it. Don't
get me wrong.
Hold it.
I want to see companies go to the legal market. I love those companies. I love them at all levels, but I don't think they need to start a war between each other because we're all on the same side here. We're all trying to be in the cannabis industry. Except for when this MCMA shit started. And all these people started going, oh, well, no, we're against these because it's not healthy. Like, whatever, dude. I guarantee one of them have a grow up at home or or vegetables at home that they're not testing. Like, shut up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not at that level. It's for personal use. It's for your people that trust you. You're not selling it to the masses at Meyer corners of Meyer. Like,
dude, yeah, no.
And that's what I'm trying to say. Like, different levels of this shit. There's going to be, but to start the war within, that was
not worth it.
Let's not have another war going in 2020 in the cannabis market. That's my prediction. I don't want to see more of this. I'd like to see them go away and realize they lost.
I agree, man. I think it's gonna be tough. Michigan's a huge community for cannabis. There's so many connoisseurs. Like the caregiver market completely built the industry, and people aren't gonna let that go.
100%.
And if it's all done in a civil manner and continue contacting the reps and doing everything like that, we're gonna be able to push past this and not be able, and they're not gonna be able
and just
to make
spreading
the changes.
that positive
and keep the
propaganda. Go out there and be a positive person in society. Break those stigmas.
Like you said, people need to be able to have the options to be able to get cannabis oil for bulk for a discount. They need to be able to get these items because you can't buy it at the dispo, or even if the dispo has it, there's sometimes it's very expensive. You can't afford that constantly, and sometimes you need a decent amount of oil or RSO oil or whatever it may be that someone else can provide. And if it's not a caregiver, it should be a home grower. Everyone should be able to home grow. And you should be able to store more than 2.5 or what is it, half pound, whatever you can store at your house. But there shouldn't be limits on it once it's adult use. There shouldn't be, because there's still restrictions on the plant. That's another thing that needs to change moving forward. But that we're talking about it now, and the topic needs to be talked about more, because you should be able to hold, if you want, a pound at your house. Because as we all know, unless you store your weed properly, it's going to get bad. So I'm assuming most consumers, maybe have an ounce at most, 2 ounces. But if someone wants to store more, they should be able to store more. But there shouldn't be a restriction on storing cannabis, right?
Well, I mean, that is the question. What is next? I mean, because again, same thing with smell. That's bullshit too. There are all these little things that we still have to fight for. I mean, as well as the big things.
There's a lot. I mean, and they're gonna continue trying to take away stuff, and it's by paying attention to the community and having the community that we have in Michigan. I mean, there's a tons of people in the community that are huge, that are pushing great things, and without
all you, we appreciate it.
And without that, we just wouldn't be where we're at.
Right.
So by seeing that and continuing to see that, it's good. It's good. I do think.
What's up? Am I a loud flower? Appreciate you.
Oh, what's up, guys? I do think things will change moving forward, and it all has to go with that stigma, man. If we can break the stigma and you make it like it is, it's a commodity. People are buying adult use just like they're buying their cigars, their cigarettes, your alcohol, your wine. You should be able to buy
it. As an adult, you shouldn't be limited to something like cannabis. It's not all that stigma's gone. We know that it doesn't make you see things we're not dropping a half sheet of acid. People are just smoking a joint. At the end of the day, I mean, I think that's kind of that's the stigma. That's the knowledge that's out there now too, is what it really does versus what it was. So what we thought,
Yeah.
Especially when there's a lack of media and stuff. Now I think people know that, that's what it does. At least know someone in their life now that does it. So, yeah. I think in 2022, I do see the stigma changing. I don't know if it's going to be completely gone yet, because it's taken a long time just to get to this point. So I don't know if one more year is going to be the
You're right. Right. It'd be nice.
But I'll be honest, the shift from medical, watching it go from medical from 2000, whatever, when we were first going to dispos and they were all still looked at it, hiding their shade because they were all going to get rated, but it was legal. They had to hide their asses, and they only saw, to now having so many options in these dispos, watching it change, it has exponentially grown since adult use has happened. So maybe we will see a really heavy shift.
I think I was gonna go on another tangent, because it goes into advertising, man. Advertising.
Okay,
what's the advertising gonna look like? What if they take away billboards? Remember, they're trying to push billboards all year to get rid of them.
They brought them, they took them away,
and then like you said, it's hard to run ads. We ran Twitter ads.
It's hard to do anything with canna in your name.
All that stuff needs to get broken down. Breaking down, sending mailers with cannabis. I've never seen that. So, and if I did see it, I don't actually look at the mailers. I throw that stuff out. But that's another thing. I wonder where advertising is going to go. But I didn't want to go on that, because that's a different tangent than what you were talking about. So I was like, nope. But we went into it. So
yeah, I hear you, man. It's like they're adding those restrictions to make it more safer, and it's to some degree, you got to make the restrictions work and then just leave it. You know what I mean? Figure out testing that doesn't get your stuff to market beforehand. Go figure, right? Figure out these processes, and then there won't need to be more. Some of these processes need to be altered and shifted, and that's it. They're trying to be oh, well, then maybe we should do this. Oh, well, we should do this. Well, no, why don't you fix what's wrong with the system? Why don't you fix that it should be decriminalized?
Right, as you're seeing all these states starting to go adult use now, you would think, and we talked about it on our episode with Jane West. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago now?
A couple weeks ago.
After Colorado was the first state, you would expect to see less and less restrictions as states are legalizing it, right? Because you're seeing what's really happening. Tons of tax revenue. You're not really seeing the deaths that the people talk about, because there's no deaths. I don't think you're seeing an increase in use at all, really, within teens or anything. And more people are starting to buy cannabis over alcohol, because you saw that in the sales. So why are we seeing more restrictions in these states as more states are becoming adult use? You know what I'm saying? We're already 19 states almost adult use, and we're taking away plant rights now.
Or they're going into it legally without the right to grow. It's just how is it legal?
Yeah, like
You mean it's regulated cannabis in New Jersey?
that's it. Where the government makes the
Right.
money. That's
if you
not
do it
regulated for the
wrong,
people.
it's still illegal.
Because
like,
then if you're
that's
growing,
like,
you're gonna get charged, and then what? You're gonna throw me in jail for growing the plant that's legal. Like that's to me that I think that's just
mind blowing.
yeah, and that's another topic that is going to continue to get talked about. But it's just like you would think that we would hopefully see different things happening, but seeing more restrictions is kind of depressing to see more restrictions on the plants were becoming legal and higher taxes. It's like, what? You guys are seeing the revenue. You're going to push it. Look at Cali
we
right
don't
now.
got enough inflation issues going
Cali's
on
so
now.
bad right now with the taxes. I think the black market, obviously the black market's thriving, but it's like thriving big time now because like tax rate out there is
ridiculous.
Unreal. You're paying like $100 for an eighth.
It's ridiculous.
Like what?
For top shelf.
Not even probably top shelf. You know.
Well, it depends. You know what I mean? That's why you got to know your cultivator. You're getting charged for the branding and how much it costs them for the product. Like you don't even know. They just post like, hey, this is what we have to charge.
Yeah, right.
To make our money. They don't honestly give a shit. They're like, this is what we have to sell. It's $50. They just know what they're making. I mean, Dispos will. I mean, not all of them. That's not. Some of them give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying at the end of the day, they're worrying about. It's a business, man. You know, not everyone's vertically integrated. That's a business. You know, who cares? Man. The cultivators. That's their product. That's who they are. So, yeah, and honestly, biodegradable T-Dub. I'm hoping that is the future too. Like biodegradable stuff. We talked that forever with Jane West. That's like
huge.
We'll There's a clip I think. I don't know if we posted it. We might have, but
yeah, I did.
You did? All right,
yeah. We might have posted.
Check that out because we went on a whole rant and me and Jane were like, I feel you. Because like it was just like a moment where it was like, yeah, it's frustrating.
You'll be seeing some BizCon interviews on Thursdays and Fridays from us, probably through the end of the year. So get you guys caught up on that. Yeah. I was gonna wrap it up. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, let's do it. No, we've been going extra long. I just wanted to talk about it because we were there.
No, I appreciate it. Actually, it works out because sometimes we start like a minute or two later, so we're here a little bit longer.
Check out a new blog out. There's a bunch of other blogs Canada Dave's own written.
Yeah, they'll be coming out on Mondays is the plan. We'll have at least one weekly blog, hopefully, every Monday.
Micannacast.com. There's a bunch of cool info.
Micannacast. Micannacast.com. Above us, below us, just in case. Yep. Just want to spell it out. But I appreciate you guys all tuning in with us, having a good Terp Talk. Like I said, we have an episode released tomorrow at 4:20 Eastern, and we'll be going live this Saturday. So hopefully to catch you guys all at 9 Eastern. You can find me, Canada Dave, on all socials. Below. And then you can find Micannacast on all socials, all streaming platforms. If it's your first time on YouTube or wherever you're at, hit that subscribe button. We greatly appreciate that. Same thing on all of our streaming channels as well, too.
Oh, yeah. And you can find me Groovy, 2 E's, no Y. You can stream my music, all streaming platforms. Please check out my tunes. Even if you don't even listen to it, just turn the volume down, press play. It helps. No, I'm just kidding. Check it out if you're into, like, I got some jazzy or sax stuff. I've got some EDM stuff. I don't know. I'm still finding the sound, just writing music. Got some more, about 2-3 songs ready coming out for next year. So just check out the tunes, Groovy, no Y, 2 E's, and Groovy Music on all socials. So appreciate you playing some of the jazzy stuff lately because I like, it's nighttime, we're vibing. So played a couple songs with my buddy Logan Law. I'll be ending with another one. Yeah. Saxy little track if you're into the saxophone. Check it out. If you're into EDM, I got some of that stuff too. Check it out. Appreciate you.
Show them some love.
Appreciate you.
And smoke good, everybody. Smoke good.
Yeah.
And as always,
we're here to advocate,
educate,
and inspire.
Till next time, y'all.
Peace.